Good morning, guys. This is Jose Diego Monroy, Dalia Associates, broadcasting a small interview with Mr. Jerry Cotter. He's an engineer, and he's gonna give us a little background about him, about his educational background, work experience, and he's gonna talk about his association, organization, and then give us some feedback. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
So tell us about your education background.
Okay, I went to high school in Wichita Falls, graduated high school, then I went to college at the University of Texas in Arlington, Texas. Spent 5 years there, kind of worked my way through. I'm not from a wealthy family, and got out of college, went to work for the Corps of Engineers out of college, stayed there for 4 years, and then I went into the private sector, spent 10 years in the private sector, worked on a variety of projects. Probably the most famous would be the superconducting supercollider. And I worked for Parsons Brinkerhoff Morris Knudsen, which was the primary infrastructure engineer for that project. And that project got canceled by Congress in the middle of it, and then I ended up returning to the Corps of Engineers. I started there in the water management group, and that group operates the flood control reservoirs for 27 flood control reservoirs across Texas. Then I eventually became the technical lead in that group, eventually the section chief, and then a few years later I became the branch chief for the Water Resources branch in Fort Worth. And that branch has two sections. One section is that water management section that manages the dam, the operation of the dams. The other section is one where we do hydrologic studies, water resources related studies. That can be anything from water supply related studies to flood studies. So in 2015, when the big flooding happened in Wimberley, Texas, we were asked by FEMA to go in there and do an after action investigation on what happened and to revise the flood insurance maps for rebuilding. We were asked to go down to Fort Hood when the soldiers drowned in Fort Hood and do an after-action investigation of what happened there as well. So we do a wide variety of things. The Corps of Engineers, we have 45 districts. We have 7 U.S. or what they call CONUS divisions. We have a couple of overseas divisions, but about 37,000 employees. We work in 130 countries around the world. 130 countries.
Wow, you work overseas?
So we work overseas. Many of my people have deployed to Afghanistan, to Iraq, and other places. And so we support different departments in the federal government. We have a huge military mission where we're building infrastructure on bases, Homeland Security, DEA, all kinds of different groups hire us to build facilities for them. And so a huge mission. It's too large to even describe, but you come to work for the Corps of Engineers, we really train people. I mean, we will train you and teach you how to do things and you know, get you ready for a long career in infrastructure.
On a day-to-day basis, you wake up on a Monday morning, you go to the office. What is your workload looks like?
Well, for the water management group that manages the dams, we're constantly monitoring those dams and making gate changes, release decisions on that. That's a never-ending. We do that 7 days a week, 8 hours a day during normal days, but during periods of heightened flooding, we operate 24/7. So we do it every day of the year, and that's a huge mission, and it's an emergency mission. The other side of the house is studies, and so we have a partnership with FEMA. We do a lot of the flood insurance type work for FEMA. We also do many infrastructure projects for communities. We built 32 dams across Texas. Nationally, we have 410 flood control reservoirs, but 700 total structures. So we have a lot of navigation structures and other types of structures. And we have offices across the country that operate that infrastructure, maintain it. It's a huge undertaking. So The big thing I want your students to understand is that look at a city like Houston or Dallas-Fort Worth. Let's talk about Dallas-Fort Worth, where we are now. This city when I moved here, was 2 million people. Today it's 7.4 million people. In 50 years it will be 15 million people is the estimate. How's that growth going to happen? It's going to happen with civil engineers, with people that manage that growth, which actually work on that infrastructure. So there's many layers of infrastructure. There's transportation, there's buildings, there's sanitary sewer, wastewater, there's water supply, there's solid waste, and many other layers of infrastructure. As a civil engineer, you can work in any of these areas. And so get engaged. As these cities grow, there's going to be such great opportunities for employment, to bring you guys into this, to teach you things, and for you to help us manage this growth and development.
Jerry, and finally, okay, so that's great. Thank you for your time. It's been an honor and pleasure to have this small discussion with you about you in particular, about the U.S. Corps of Engineers. And finally, any specific advice for somebody that they just graduated from college? You just mentioned it, but for new millennials, there are new young engineers. They do everything by computer. Any specific advice on training for technology?
Well, technology is changing so rapidly. It doubles in the computer area about every year and a half. So you have to continually train. And there's all types of training opportunities out there, from virtual to actually on-site training. So you come to work for the Corps, we're going to send you to training, several trainings every year. Lots of virtual, lots of mentoring type training opportunities. Persist. When you go to an employer, if the answer is no right away, that's no reflection on you. It just means today is not the right day. Don't give up. Decide what you want to work in, whether it's structural engineering, construction management, water resources related engineering. Decide what you want to do, and then pursue those employers that do that work. It's easy to do the research to find out who they are. All of our jobs are online at USA Jobs, so you can set up notifications that monitor jobs in a certain region. You go to work for the Corps of Engineers, you can travel the world. You can work anywhere in the United States, and there's many companies now that are large. The AECOMs, that are national, worldwide, the half associates that are regional, the Fries and Nichols that are regional, many opportunities. So identify what your dream is, and then go and pursue that, and we need you.
Jerry, I just want to thank you once again very much. A pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure.